2009. Amy is 26 years old. By now, she's lived a dozen lifetimes. The girl who once sang in smoky jazz clubs now hides in her Camden flat, drinking vodka in the morning, sleeping through afternoons, answering no calls. Her label wants more music. Fans want more concerts. But Amy wants silence. The pressure to follow Back to Black was crushing. The world wanted another masterpiece. But she could barely hold a note some nights, let alone write. The industry whispered, she's done. The tabloids shouted, she's broken. And Amy? She just disappeared. After her Grammy win, Amy tried to clean up. She took time off, went to St. Lucia, spent weeks by the beach. But wherever she went, the pain followed. She stopped doing hard drugs, but the alcohol filled the space. Her performances became unpredictable, sometimes brilliant, sometimes a mess. In 2010, Blake Fielder-Civil divorced her from prison. It was quiet, just a paper signature. But for Amy, it was another death. She once said, "I'd give up everything just to have him back. I'd walk away from the fame, from the money, from the music." And she meant it. She still loved him, no matter how toxic it had been. Her team begged her to return to rehab. She went, briefly, came back. Nothing stuck. At times, she seemed better, laughing with friends, writing again, gaining weight. Other times, she was seen stumbling outside bars, slurring in interviews, staring blankly at cameras. Her body was breaking. Her liver was damaged. She had seizures. Still, the pressure to perform never stopped. In 2011, her team booked a European comeback tour. It was supposed to be her redemption. Instead, it was the beginning of the end. June 18, 2011, Belgrade, Serbia. Thousands gathered to see Amy's return. She walked on stage, visibly intoxicated, disoriented. She forgot lyrics, dropped her microphone. The band tried to cover for her. The crowd booed. It was painful, embarrassing, heartbreaking. The rest of the tour was canceled immediately. That night, headlines screamed, "Train wreck in Belgrade," but few asked, how did she even get on that stage? Amy went home. She didn't leave again. Candle, July 23, 2011. For the next few weeks, Amy stayed in her Camden townhouse. No shows, no public sightings, no new music. She was drinking again, alone. According to her bodyguard, she'd been watching YouTube videos of old performances, laughing and singing along. She'd seemed happier, quieter, but inside, her organs were failing. On July 23rd, she was found dead in her bed. The coroner's report revealed her blood alcohol content was 5 times the legal driving limit. Amy Winehouse was gone. Age, 27. She joined the club of legends who died at 27, Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison. All artists, all damaged, all gone too soon. Newspaper, The Aftershock. The world reacted with a mixture of shock, sadness, and shame. Fans wept. Critics mourned the loss of one of the greatest voices of her generation. The tabloids, the same ones who stalked and humiliated her, published glossy tribute covers. Irony hung in the air like smoke. For years, they sold stories of her destruction. Now, they celebrated her genius. People asked, why didn't someone save her? Where was the help? How could this happen? But Amy wasn't just a victim of drugs. She was a victim of fame, codependency, mental health, and an industry that consumes pain for profit. Amy released only 2 albums in her lifetime. Just 2. And yet, her influence reshaped an entire generation of female artists. Adele, Lady Gaga, Florence Welch, Billie Eilish. She made it okay to be raw, broken, real. Her lyrics weren't metaphors, they were cries for help. Love is a losing game. I tread a troubled track / my odds are stacked. I don't ever want to drink again / I just need a friend. She never played a character. She was the music. After her death, documentaries, books, and tribute concerts tried to capture the real Amy. Some painted her as a genius undone by addiction. Others blamed her father, her ex, the press. But maybe there wasn't one villain. Maybe it was 1,000 tiny cuts, all at once. Her family started the Amy Winehouse Foundation to support young people with addiction. It was their way of turning pain into purpose. But no charity can bring her back. People who knew her best say she was kind, hilarious, sharp-witted, obsessed with old jazz records, always looking for realness in a fake world. She didn't want to be famous. She just wanted to sing. Amy Winehouse wasn't a warning. She was a human being. Talented, troubled, terrified. She gave the world her soul in every song, and the world, in return, gave her pressure, isolation, and flashbulbs. But beyond the tragedy is something rare, an artist who told the truth even when it hurt, and that truth still echoes in every smoky voice, every broken lyric, every fan who sees themselves in her pain. Because Amy didn't just sing about heartbreak, she lived it, and in the end, she sang until her voice went silent. Life's short. Anything could happen, and it usually does. Amy Winehouse. In the smoky backstreets of Camden, where indie music clashed with jazz and punk, a girl with a beehive haircut and a voice decades older than her years stood in the center of it all. Her name was Amy Jade Winehouse. To many, she was simply the girl with the voice. To others, a ticking time bomb. But before the world saw the tragic headlines, before the paparazzi photos of slurred shows and trembling hands, there was a girl with raw pain, raw talent, and no armor. Seedling beginnings. Amy was born on September 14, 1983, in Southgate, North London. Her family was working-class, Jewish, music-loving. Her father, Mitch, was a taxi driver with a Sinatra obsession. Her mother, Janice, a pharmacist, soft-spoken and often tired. There was music in the house, always. Jazz, Motown, Frank Sinatra, Dinah Washington. Her uncles played instruments. Her grandmother once dated a famous saxophonist. Amy absorbed it all. But she didn't just sing. She felt it. Even as a child, her voice had this strange, aching quality. Something between Billie Holiday and a wounded soul. By the time she was 9, her parents had divorced. The pain of that split stayed with her. Not loud, but lingering. She began to act out, rebel, find her own identity. She cut her hair short. She talked back. And she started writing songs in a notebook. Amy didn't care for rules. School bored her. Authority annoyed her. But music, that was everything. At 14, she got her first tattoo. At 16, she was already singing in jazz clubs. By 18, she had a record deal. Musical Notes Frank, 2003. In 2003, Amy released her first album, Frank. It wasn't a commercial bombshell, but critics noticed. Her voice was unmissable. Deep, smoky, textured. Songs like Stronger Than Me and Take the Box weren't pop hits. They were soul confessions. But Amy wasn't playing the game. She didn't dress like other pop stars. She didn't smile for cameras. She chain-smoked. She drank too much. She told interviewers to piss off if she didn't like their questions. She was authentic, messy, magnetic, and she hated fame. Behind the scenes, something darker was already forming. She was drinking heavily. She was losing weight. Her mood swung wildly. And she'd begun an on-and-off relationship with a man who would later define much of her downfall. Blake Fielder Civil. Broken Heart Blake. Blake was charming, chaotic, dangerous. A music video assistant with his own issues, and a deep love for heroin and crack cocaine. Amy fell hard. Their relationship was obsessive, violent, and codependent. Blake introduced her to drugs she'd never touched before. Heroin, crack. It wasn't just experimentation, it was full immersion. Her friends begged her to leave him. Her family tried interventions. But Amy didn't want help. She wanted him. When Blake left her in 2005 to return to a former girlfriend, Amy spiraled. And from that pain came her masterpiece. Studio Microphone Back to Black, 2006. It was Amy's heartbreak anthem, but also her obituary in disguise. Back to Black came out in 2006, and it was everything Frank wasn't. Louder, sharper, more soulful, more broken. It was retro and fresh at once. The Ronettes met jazz, met hip-hop. Mark Ronson produced it like a funeral for a relationship. The title track, Back to Black, was a gut punch of loss. We only said goodbye with words / I died 100 times. Rehab became an accidental anthem, ironic, raw, iconic. Amy sang it with fire. They tried to make me go to rehab / I said no, no, no. It was more than a lyric. It was her truth. Back to Black catapulted Amy to global fame. 5 Grammy Awards, platinum sales, sold-out shows. But with the spotlight came the monsters. The fall behind the fame. By 2007, Amy was a superstar and a wreck. Tabloids devoured her. Photos of her staggering through Camden. Her face bruised, arms covered in cuts, slurring lyrics on stage, collapsing mid-show. Fans cheered her talent. But the industry watched her fall and kept selling tickets. She tried rehab but never fully committed. She was hospitalized for overdoses, seizures, alcohol poisoning. But the shows went on. Her relationship with Blake turned into a public soap opera. They married in secret in Miami. Weeks later, they were both arrested. He went to prison. Amy kept spiraling. In one interview, she said, "I'm not a girl trying to be a star. I'm just a girl that sings. And that's it." But the machine had already swallowed her whole. Candle, a girl called Amy. Behind the eyeliner and tattoos, Amy was still just that girl from North London. She joked about everything. She adored her friends. She was funny, sharp, witty, even in the middle of madness. She wrote songs not for fame, but because she had to. But addiction isn't a switch you can flip. It's a tide that pulls you under, inch by inch. By 2008, Amy was barely recognizable. Her voice cracked. Her body shrank. At Glastonbury, she mumbled through her set, forgetting lyrics. At Belgrade, she was booed off stage. She canceled tours, fought with paparazzi, hid in her apartment for weeks. Her father started giving interviews. Her mother wrote letters. The media turned her life into a circus. And through it all, she kept drinking,